guys, my name is Nicole and I'm a co-founder at FinWise. One of the questions we get asked all the time is how is FinWise different from the OG Vault22 in South Africa? So I thought I'd make a quick video walking through the various pages of the app to show you side by side what is different. Just to preface, this is FinWise mobile app on iOS. It's exactly the same on Android, but I wasn't able to download the Vault22 app on the simulator. So this is the browser mobile version of Vault22. And I am not 100% sure if this is an exact representation of what is in the Vault22 app. It might be a little different. But nevertheless, it's an interesting comparison. It's also interesting for me as a founder to compare them side by side. This is FinWise in dark mode. I can change it to light mode, but it's the same. Cool. So we both have like a home page, an overview page. I'm going to just show you quickly on FinWise. We have a summary of how much money you have left in your budget, how far you are into the budget, what the budget period is, what your spend has been this month versus last month, spend by month, which needs a cleanup, and then we have a net worth chart. This data is all fake, so it looks a bit funny. Then on Vault, they start their app with a notice on which accounts need reconnecting, which is great in terms of informing the user when data might be incorrect. They also have a little net worth block showing your total net worth versus savings and investments. And then Vault leans more on like a wealth building. They have like more of a wealth building angle. So here they've got like setting up your profile, where you sit with a financial fitness score. Vault's already got an AI financial assistant called Tara, which is pretty cool. But the key difference between Vault and FinWise at this stage is that I would say that Vault22 sells products in-app, so you can set goals and buy into funds, and FinWise does not do that. So I think here you can start an emergency fund with Vault, see your budget, set a goal. I think you can link some of your investments, and then here you can see you can buy various products. So that's one of the main differences between Vault and FinWise. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at the budget page. So FinWise doesn't have a nice graph that shows you how far into the budget you are. On FinWise, we have just some data at the top that tells you how much is budgeted income versus expenses and how much you've actually received versus spent. In my opinion, Vault's graphic is a little easier to digest. So then we have on FinWise an income and expenses section for your budget. Also, it shows you how far along for income versus expenses you are. And you can click into these budget sections and you can see your transactions for this budget period. And you can set a budget, edit the whole category, and also modify the transaction. So you can add attachments, notes, and tags, mark as transfer, etc. On Vault, I think it's very similar. So if we scroll down here, here on Vault, the main difference is that there's like predefined spending groups. So I can, for instance, click on eating out. I don't think, this is a very old account, so I'm not sure I will have any transactions to show you, but you can set a budget period. It looks like on Vault you can track my spend against my average. I'm not quite sure what that means. And only apply to this month. And then you can also enable spending alerts. That is something that is 100% coming on FinWise in the next few weeks. But yeah, looks like you can set your budgets and then click into them, set some settings, kind of like FinWise. But the main difference here, it looks like that there are these, I guess these are their categories. Cool. Okay, so then the next page, I'll just go along with what FinWise has. So we have transactions. So on FinWise, we have a transactions list, there's search, we also have multi-filters at the top. You can do a multi-select with bulk edit and bulk review. You cannot import transactions on the mobile app at this point. You can only do that on the desktop app. And you can view any archived transactions. So those are deleted transactions. You can toggle between reviewed and unreviewed. And then you can click into a transaction and modify it as is. On Vault, it's similar. So you have your search, filters. I think they have like quick select filters up here, which is nice. And then they show you money in and money out. That's nice. And then you see your transactions. So you can click into this one, and you can also do a bunch of things. So very similar to FinWise. Sorry, I think the mobile browser version might be a bit stuck on the simulator. I don't think it's a representation of Vault22. So then the next page to show you is accounts, but in Vault22 that's called My Wealth. So it looks like both pages start off by showing you the net worth. On Vault22 you can upload statements, import history, and I think C deactivated accounts in the app, which is a little bit more than what FinWise has. If we scroll down here, they definitely highlight nicely here with which accounts need attention. On FinWise, we don't have like a top notice on that, but next to each account, you would see a little notice if the account wasn't syncing. And then both apps seem to have account groups. So FinWise has account groups that are customizable. You can rename them and reorder them and do as you wish, move accounts between groups. And my understanding is that you can do the same you can do the same on Vault. So you can reorder and move accounts between account groups. So that's very similar. Okay, great. So now we've looked at transactions. I don't know if Vault, has an analyze page. So they have these insights, which I think are insights into your spending. Here they suggest building an emergency fund. I'm not sure if this is them wanting you to buy into a product or detecting that I don't have money saved. And there's definitely insights here that are helpful, looking at how much I spent this month versus last month, giving the insights how much I spent and saved. So I think insights into my money and giving me suggestions of different products I can build to be more financially wealthy and on track over time. And I think that ties into their idea of like fitness, financial fitness. On FinWise is more of like a money tracking spending app. We don't sell products, but you can see your information in various views. So I think what's a little different on FinWise is we have this analyze page, and you can look at your spending as a graph in different ways. So there's a breakdown with a pie chart. You can look at trends over time when you really need to clean this up. So you can see your expenses versus your income versus your net spend over time. And then there's also a table breakdown of money in, money out, and net spend. So I think Vault does show this information, but they kind of break down on pages, whereas FinWise has got it in one section. So we can see our spend here. So I think those are the main pages on FinWise. Vault obviously has quite a bit more. So something that's great is that they have an investments page for specifically tracking your investments. FinWise does not have this at the moment on mobile or desktop. They also have their, like I mentioned earlier, financial fitness score and goals. But my understanding with goals is that you buy into a product to save a certain amount of money. Then it looks like there's a way to track your debt with an avalanche and snowball strategy. So that's awesome. And that's something that we've been thinking about on FinWise as well. You can also track your crypto portfolio. So that's really helpful. And yeah, so it looks like here Vault has product updates page. FinWise also has that on their changelog. So you view that on what's new. It looks like both apps describe like what they're building and changing. And what else? Yeah, I guess another thing with Vault is that they've got notifications. FinWise doesn't have notifications at this time, but it is something that we will think about adding in the future. It looks like nowadays Vault is multi-currency, which is true for FinWise as well. Sorry, I've now messed up the browser. There we go. Yeah, so I think that's a good comparison of the two apps. Like I said, I have a feeling that the Vault22 product is slightly different actually on the mobile app. And if I compare the two apps side by side, Vault22 is definitely leaning towards helping individuals build wealth and more wealth management, I think, with managing money. Whereas at the moment, FinWise is more focused on budgeting and keeping track of your finances. On our desktop app, we also have this concept of plans, so being able to track your money on a financial plan. And the idea there is that you could add your assets and liabilities and also plan for one day buying a house or one day buying a car. So FinWise is a much newer app, not as developed as Vault22, but in the future we will have goals and couples budgeting and a whole bunch of other features. But I can see at this point already that there is a slight difference with the direction that Vault versus FinWise is taking. But yeah, that was just an interesting comparison side by side of the two apps. I think both can add a lot of value to people. I think fundamentally it takes consistency of tracking your data and being diligent with your finances, kind of like fitness. And yeah, two great solutions in South Africa. And I would love to hear in the comments what you prefer, what you think could be better on both apps. And yeah, have a great day. Happy to chat. Happy to show our apps side by side. Bye.